Greetings, old school magic players, and welcome to the Four Horsemen.
Greetings, old school magic players. Welcome to Thursday Night Magic with the Four Horsemen. I'm the Chadster. I'm here with John Eccleberry. Evening, John.
Hello.
We are doing another video tonight for Four Horsemen Tournament number 9. And John and I are going to be reviewing the match with you. If you've watched our prior videos, you know that the Four Horsemen is a old school magic group that focuses specifically on the original 4 expansions for Magic the Gathering, Arabian Nights, Antiquities, Legends, and the Dark. You can check us out at fourhorsemenmagic.com or on Facebook at facebook.com/groups/fourhorsemenmtg. Before we get started with the tournament match that John and I are going to cover for Tournament 9, quick reminder, we're doing the ever-popular Four Horsemen Pauper Doubleton. This is a tournament that John and I kind of came up with as a spice tournament over the summer and turned out to be really popular with our players. And we're running this tournament starting this weekend, the 17th through December 22nd. And it's the Four Horsemen sets, but only common cards and only 2 of each card. It's a really interesting card pool, and it's really popular with the players. So if you want to check it out, fourhorsemenmagic.com and go to tournament number 10. Also, Thursday nights, we had a meetup tonight, and a few of our players played some games, but we meet up on Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern. If you'd like to join us, just get in touch, and you can join on Thursday nights to play some games. All right, John, so let's talk about Tournament 9. We've done my match with Nick, and we've covered Mike and who was it last night?
Mike played Max, I think.
Mike and Max, that's right. And so tonight we're going to be covering our third quarterfinals match. Just a quick snapshot view of the banner restricted for the viewers. This is what we call regular Four Horsemen, so no special spice or any special things, but updated banner restricted as you see here. And here's a quick look at the brackets. So we've covered these first 2 matches on the quarterfinals, and I beat Nick 2-0 and Mac beat Mike 2-0. So tonight we're going to be covering Jean-Simon Jalbert, who goes by JS, versus Ian Stedman. John, you recorded this match for us, so you've at least seen the game, but you don't have any specific recollections about this match, eh?
No, I think I recorded 5 games, pretty close together, and I don't remember what was what. Although when we see the deck photos, I might. Yeah, this is green red versus green red black, I believe.
Yes, that's right. And actually, I think, yeah, it should be black-green, right? Did I not change that right? Yeah, it is. It's red, green, black. That's right. Yeah, so let me just fix this real quick. Yeah, this is 3 colors for Ian. And there we go. Bam. Okay. Yeah, so on the left is JS's deck. He's running red, green, all traditional Four Horsemen stuff with some spicy things like Immolation and Concordant Crossroads. And Ian is running red, green, black with some spicy stuff like Untamed Wilds and If Biff Efreet. So let's take a look at JS's deck. John, you're a big red fan. Lots of red here. What do you think of JS's build?
Yeah, pretty straightforward green-red beats. Like all the card choices. Not a whole lot to say. I like that 1 main board Concordant Crossroads that can nuke an Abyss if you need to.
Yeah.
And also, of course, it makes your Djinns better. It makes your scavenger folk available immediately to sack to destroy something. It makes the wolves able to pump something right away. Like, it seems pretty good in this deck. So I'm all for it. And his board, pretty solid. It's got a little land walk, little protection, little extra removal, blood moon for all the guys that are running a bunch of non-basics. I mean, blood moon would have been a nightmare for the deck I played, and probably some of the others in the tournament as well.
Oh yeah, a lot of people were running 3 colors, and all the duels. I know I was. I actually ran 4 colors. So yeah, I like that he's got Blood Moon and the Mountain Yeti in the sideboard. Interesting, he chose Desert Twister as well. I guess he was worried about maybe taking out something else. And then he's got the Whirling Dervish, also a great if he runs into Abyss and good against black decks. And the Wyluli Wolf's great, pumps the Erhnams, pumps all of his creatures. And I like that he splashed in Immolation. That's something we all did as, kids as Magic. Immolation was always in there, very handy. All right, let's take a look at Ian's deck. Ian is running some interesting stuff. What do you think of this build? Red, green, black build by Ian.
Yeah, this is good. It's much like a lot of the decks we saw in this tournament that kind of moved away from robots. The lot of heavy Djinn decks. Pick your poison between either green black or black blue or blue green. People are running a lot of Djinns and Efreets, and same thing here. He's leaning hard into the F-Biff. He's got the full play set of F-Biffs, which is pretty cool. Flying Hurricane on a stick. And I like the Storm World.
Yeah, Storm World, that's right. Yeah, the enchantment there for 1 red. It's like, it operates like the rack. And it's much cheaper than the rack to cast and does the same thing. I think it's for each card in your hand less than 4, you take damage. So it's going to force his opponents to keep cards in their hands. And yeah, if Biff, super good. Flyer has a Hurricane you can activate. And the only drawback to if Biff is if your opponent's playing green, they can activate it too, and it affects if Biff as well. So if he comes up against green, if Biff is definitely something he'll want to sideboard out. Also, the Whirling Dervish main deck is really an interesting choice. If you can get those guys out early, you can clear the field with Chain Lightnings and Pyrotechnics. Chain's early game, Pyrotechnics mid game. Those Whirling Dervish can get pretty big, and if anybody is happening to be running Abyss, they'll be immune to that. He's also got Pendlehaven to help pump with the Whirling Dervish, and also up in the upper left there, Untamed Wilds, which works really well to get your mana ramp going. It's also really good with Sylvan Library, so you can get cards off the top of the Sylvan that you don't want, and get a fresh land draw with the Untamed. And you're going to be looking at 3 new cards the next turn, so it's pretty good. And of course, Erhnam Djinn, Staple, and Kurt Apes, since he's running red-green. In the sideboard, he's got some interesting stuff. A couple of Infernos. Those bad boys are really pricey to cast, but do a ton of damage to everything. I think they cost 2 red and 5, so like 7 mana to cast. Underworld Dreams, triple black. Good for long games. Oubliette, in case he's got to remove some stuff. A couple of Storm Seekers. Those work great with the Storm World. Some Citadel Druids for anti-robots. And looks like Spinal Villain, red card that removes flying, so it can get rid of flying stuff. A couple Concordance, great for destroying other world enchantments. And another Storm World. So interesting and diverse sideboard there from Ian. John, you back?
I'm back.
Just in time. All right. I just finished up reviewing Ian's deck, and what we'll do now is we'll jump over to the game. All right, the guys are done their stacks, their triple stacks, and they're rolling. JS got a 6, and it looks like I think he called odds on that one, so I think Ian on the right, I think, is going to go first here. Ian's got a nice vintage playmat, one of those old leather ones from back in the day. John, do you know what kind of playmat this is that Ian has?
I don't. Well, actually, yeah, it's man, what is the name of that company? They just reprinted some of them, and people were really excited about it. They did them same design but a different color.
Okay.
For the new ones. The brand name is escaping me though.
Got it. Well, Ian gets the perfect first turn. Tyga and Curdape. Both of these guys have Curdapes, I think, so it's going to be interesting. JS gets a forest and a desert.
Not as good as Tyga Curdape.
Not as good as Tyga.
Let's see what he's got here for 2.
But he's got a second turn Argothian Pixies. That'll hit.
That's all right.
That'll punch for the same 2 damage. And Ian drops a Sylvan. Early Sylvan's really, really good. So 2 on the chin of JS there. So JS is up in Ontario, Canada, fellow Canadian.
We got a lot of Canadian players in this league.
Yeah. Which is nice, you know. No spoilers, but some of our Canadian players get together and play in person. And if 2 of these guys end up facing off in the tournament,
and look at that, there's another Canadian entering to spectate.
Mr. Soltez, ever faithful, ever present, always wanting to jump in and watch the games. He's usually like packing up cards that he sold while he's watching the game with us. Okay, so Ian drops a forest and a scavenger folk. He chain lightnings the Curdape. JS had dropped a second turn or third turn Fell Wars, and he could get red, so he played his Curdape, and he's got the forest, but the chain lightning there blew him up. Looks like you must have stepped away here, John, because you're not letting Peter in.
Yeah, I think in a minute here he messages me and I go let him in. I think I was watching a movie or something.
All right, here's 4. It must be an Erhnam. There's big Uncle Ernie.
There's the Erhnam. It's too bad Ian didn't have time to blow up the Fellwar Stone, to knock him off of 4 mana, but
yeah, with the
he'll probably hit soon enough.
Yeah, he's going to be digging 3 now, so with that Sylvan. Yeah, Fellwar early is so good. It just gives you that edge over your opponent. If you can get that head start, it makes a big difference. All right, and Peter got let in there. And now Ian's dropping his Erhnam. So this is pretty classic right here, right? This reminds me a lot of like early Four Horsemen in the Wild Wild West days,
Yeah, the first couple of tournaments when a lot of people were running red-green aggro.
Yes. City of Brass for JS. Now he's not running those. He's not running those Blood Moon's main deck, but if he were, Blood Moon right now would be pretty crippling for Ian.
I've really moved away from City of Brass, especially in 2-color decks. I didn't even play it in my 3-color deck this last time because I was playing so many Djinns that did damage to me that I just felt like taking damage from the city on top of it was just kind of a bridge too far. But I suppose in 2-color where he doesn't have any other stuff that's doing him damage, it's probably not that big of a deal.
Yeah, I think he's also running the 4 deserts, so you know, for him, you don't want to end up with 2 colorless mana early in the game. So I think he's running those cities because he's got the deserts in there, which is an interesting choice. Okay, so he pyrotechnics and he took out Ian's Kurt Ape and did 3 to the Kurt Ape and 1 to Ian with the pyro.
1 to the scavenger folk.
Oh, sorry, 1 to the scavenger folk. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so he was able to get a 2-for-1 on him, which is pretty good.
2 for 1. Yeah. And Ian still didn't have a chance to do his scavenger blow up because he used all his mana to put the Erhnam out. Here's the Untamed Wilds coming in. Nice to see that card. The forest comes into play. It comes into play untapped, right?
It does.
Yeah.
So the only problem with pyrotechnicsing away all of his weenies is that now that Erhnam is going to have Forest Walk every turn if he doesn't play another guy.
Oh yeah, you might want to save
I
him.
found that to be pretty problematic in some of my matches that I played.
Well, you can always run Hammerheim.
You can always run Hammerheim. You know, that's a thing. I should have been running it in my deck.
Yeah, but you make a really good point.
I wasn't playing red though. I was playing green, black, blue.
Yeah, you can still run it. If you're running Erhnams, you can still run it.
Yeah, but having an off-color land in a 3-color deck seems a little tough.
Yeah. But yeah, you make a great point. He could have left the scavenger folk in play and just given them Forest Walk, and he doesn't need the Fellward, you know, right now that he's got the city, so maybe that would have been a better choice.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
All right, so Ian plays another Untamed Wilds here. Untamed Wilds number 2. So he's really pulling ahead in mana. Gets another forest out. So he plays a Kurt Ape and then an Untamed Wilds. And then he still has 4 mana he can tap. Looks like they're talking something over here. So the life totals here, it looks like Ian's got his life total at 13 or 14, but JS shows him at 13 and JS life is at 11. Okay, there's a chain lightning blowing up the Kurt Ape. Interesting, he's able to get away with that chain lightning without it bouncing back because Ian's red is all tapped.
Yeah, it's a good time to play it.
And then he hits in with 6. So Ian takes a big 6-point hit.
So it's a race now.
Yeah. And that chain really helped. It clears the way for that. He clears the way for both for the Pixies to get in, as well as the Erhnam. So he's given the Pixies Forest Walk. Looks like Ian's thinking it over here. Ian's down to 8 already. And JS at 11. Okay, so Ian's attacking. 7 for JS. So it's a pretty tight game right now, 7 to 8. And Ian drops the Whirling Dervish. What do you think about main deck Dervish?
It's fine. I mean, it does get bigger as time goes on. I guess the only snag is if they have Desert out when you play it, it kind of sucks.
Yeah, which in this case, JS.
Which JS does.
Right.
So, you know, it's only ever going to get in for 1.
Mm-hmm. Oh, when does the counter get added to the Dervish, though?
At the end of turn. It would die from the desert before it gets the counter. They actually had, if I remember correctly, they have that debate here.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well. Okay, so Ian elects to attack again with the Erhnam. Okay, and he gets JS down to 3 and has the pyrotechnics to finish off JS. Look at that. Wow.
Yeah.
That was really
Reach is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, that was really pretty close. I mean, that Sylvan Library, I bet you came in really handy for Ian here because he was digging, Untamed Wilding, you know, he probably had cards on top that he didn't want or didn't need, and he's able to get those extra lands and shuffle away the cards, the non-optimal Sylvan Library top cards, and, you know, I think that probably helped him draw into that extra damage with the pyrotechnics.
Yeah, I'm sure it made all the difference because that was a very close game.
Interesting. Ian is actually sliding his sideboard cards in and out of the sleeves here.
Well, guess he doesn't have enough of that color sleeve. I see people do that from time to time. I've just moved to having everything sleeved in the same sleeves.
Yeah,
in my whole collection.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Four cards, you know.
Yeah, I just use the.
I do like those mint green sleeves though. They're really cool. I did have a set of them in the past, and they're nice. But I opted for black for.
Me too. Yeah, I just use the Ultra Pro gloss standards, and you can I get them off of Amazon. And I did the same as you. I have all my cards now, and it's so much easier to build decks, and I rarely have to put things in sleeves anymore because they're all in sleeves. I mean, it was expensive to invest in all those sleeves, but it also helps and protect everything, you know?
Yeah, and you do kind of eventually hit an apex and with old school cards where you kind of just have everything. I mean, I need more power and, you know, some expensive Arabian Nights cards, but other than that, like all of the base cards that you would use to build decks, you know, are all just sleeved up and boxed, and so
yeah, it's so convenient.
If you want to build something, it's pretty easy.
Right.
So he's Ian's got another Sylvan Library again right off the get this game turn too. So
yeah, well, he is running
that's
4 of them.
definitely gonna favor him.
Yeah. I saw he's running 4 of those. He wants that Sylvan Library 100% of every game. He wants to get it and get it early, and he's able to do that with the 4 of, and now he's able to dig. So he's got green, black, red here, and look at that, 3rd turn Untamed Wilds. Now also JS got his Fellwar Stone out early again, and an early desert and an early strip. Interesting, he decided not to use the strip on the Pendlehaven or whatever. So now you can get any.
Yeah, I guess he's saving it for something.
So with Untamed Wilds, you can get is it any forest or a basic land?
Any basic land, and it comes in untapped.
Okay. Did Ian grab a mountain?
He got a mountain. Yeah, he got that unglued mountain at the end there.
Okay, here comes pyrotechnics. Boom, boom. Oh, wow. All right, so 1 to the Argothian and 3 to JS. So JS takes 3, goes to 17. Wow, you got lots of spectators. You got Max and you got Peter.
Yeah, everybody was jumping in on this match to watch it.
That's cool.
And of course, I didn't let any of them in right away. But, you know, we got there.
Okay, so Ian gets to dig again with Sylvan Library after JS plays Mishra's Factory, and Ian is Untamed Wilding for a second time to grab another land. Man, he's just ramp. It's, you know, it's interesting that he's running the Untamed Wilds instead of running Fell Wars.
I played the Untamed Wilds when we were just screwing around deciding what we wanted to play, and I eventually cut them before we went to the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't. They're cool. I like it, but it felt a little clunky in some games, and I was playing the 4 Fell War Stones.
Right.
But maybe, you know, maybe not running any artifacts in your deck and just blanking their artifact removal there's something to be said for that.
Yeah. So Ian drops.
I like the if biff here.
Yeah, Ian drops the if biff, and in this case, JS only has potentially 2 green right now. So, but it looks like he's doing a 5 of, and there's the pyrotechnics.
Fissure maybe.
Pyrotechnics.
Oh, pyrotechnics. Yeah.
All right, so he got rid of the if biff. And Ian Sylvan Libraries again, so he's looking. I haven't seen Ian take any extra cards. Wow, Ian passes here. Now that's rough. That means he's not gotten anything decent, even with his Sylvan Library 3 dig. Uh-oh.
Yeah, so he's probably got cards sitting on the top of his library that aren't great.
Yeah.
I'd be tempted in that situation to just pay some life to just skim him off.
Yeah,
you know, especially since he's ahead.
But here's an Erhnam coming down, and JS hits for 2 with the factory. So bringing Ian to 15. That factory, you know, they're restricted now, and we're not seeing a lot of them as we were before they were unrestricted, but JS is making good use of it here.
I mean, I imagine most people are still playing the one that they're allotted.
Wow, look at this, John. Double chain lightning to get rid of the Erhnam. Dang.
Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, you gotta do it. Oh, and there's a Rook Egg. Well, that's better than another Erhnam right now.
Yeah, that'll just sit there.
And the factory comes in for 2 again. Okay, so Ian's looking at 3. Still elects not to take any extras.
He found something this time, though. It looks like.
All right, he got another if biff. Now, JS has 3 green now because he's got his Fell War and he's got the Pendlehaven, which he played last turn.
Yeah, so he can just hurricane it away if he wants to.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't really see any reason not to.
Yeah, I mean, there's no sense in taking the 3 flying damage. But I would attack with the factory first, because then you'd only have to basically do 1. Unless you just want to do
well,
that.
I mean...
Well, you don't want
I
to...
think I'd rather do 3 and then just get in with the factory, and then he's done in 5.
Oh, yeah, you don't want to lose the factory. What am I thinking? Okay, so now this is interesting. He elects not to attack. I wonder if JS knows that if biff can be activated by any player.
Maybe he doesn't. Or maybe he's just waiting to see if he plays something before he activates it.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, JS plays an X point in some of the other old school formats, so I think he's a pretty, you know, well-seasoned player. I'd be surprised if he didn't know that about if biff. But looky here, Ian decided not to attack with if biff because JS dropped a Maze of Ith. Okay, so JS is at 17. Ian's at 13. But Ian's got a Untamed Djinn now. Now, here's the old trick, putting the immolation on the Rook Egg. He really didn't need to do that, I don't guess. I mean, well, I guess if you want to try and get in for the damage, you need to. All right, so JS gets his 4/4 rook at the end of the turn. And Ian has the pyrotechnics to deal with it. Look at that. Right on time. What do you think of that, John?
I mean, it's pretty solid. Can't argue with it. I think that Hoosum was going to be a real problem for JS.
Mm-hmm. The real big boy is going to be... I mean, even if he gets an Erhnam, he has to try and double block. But he does have the Maze of Ith right now. Oh, and looky here. Desert Twister coming down. Getting rid of the Untamed Djinn. That is baller old school. Check it out, John. Desert Twistering the Juzum. How about that?
That Desert Twister came out of the board and it did its job.
Wow. There's a nod.
He only had the one, right, in the board, or did he have some main as well?
No, I think he just had the one on the board. We can look at it after the game. But yeah, he even had the Maze of Ith to deal with the Juzum, and he elected to go ahead and use it anyway. I found that's interesting. All right, so Scavenger Folk comes out. Erhnam comes out on Ian's side. So JS has still got some pretty good defense. You know, he's got the desert and the factory to help deal with the weenies, and he's got the maze to help deal with the Erhnam. So he's got a pretty good defense. He's still 17. Oh, Ian is tapping another 4 and praying another Erhnam Djinn. So double Ernie, and wow. Yeah, I mean, Ian can hold off one of those Erhnams, but not two of them. Now, this is interesting. Ian is electing to blow up the Felwar Stone. He could have saved it to blow up the factory if he tried to animate the factory. So he mazes 1, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, what's going on here? Wait. What's happening here? Did he just play pyrotechnics in the middle of combat?
I don't... Geez, I don't know. We better back it up to make sure.
Yeah. So Ian here sacrifices the Scavenger Folk to kill the Felwar Stone. And then JS Maze of Ith's 1 Erhnam. Oh, it's a Fisher. It's a Fisher. Ooh, okay. It's not a pyrotechnics. He fissured, which is an instant.
Got it. Yeah, Fisher's really good as an instant. I really like that card.
It's so sneaky.
I know it costs 5, but it's still super good.
It's so sneaky. Yeah, it's just like blip up your guy's going. And if you get a problematic land like a Diamond Valley or Maze of Ith, or you know, you can also pay the 5 and get rid of that land. Okay, so now it's pass. JS drops another forest and passes. He's gotten a lot of land lately. Gets another Felwar Stone out. So the Maze of Ith is holding back the Erhnam right now for JS's defense, but he can't really attack and get in for any damage either. Okay, here's a 4. That's going to be an Erhnam.
Just an Erhnam fest.
Yeah, so now it's going to be Forest Walk versus Forest Walk. But the Maze of Ith is going to really help JS here, because he can just Maze of Ith the Forest Walking Erhnam, but then he can't get through on an attack still. Oubliette. Oh, wow, looky here. Bam. Erhnam gets removed. Oubliette removing the Erhnam. It's pretty solid.
It's pretty good. He's still going to have to get around that maze, though.
Yeah, the maze is the problem right now.
We restricted maze to 1 in this tournament, which is nice because it really slows down the game when you can play multiple mazes, but it's probably correct to play the 1 allotted maze for most of the decks.
Yeah, it's still an extremely powerful card. Alright, so Ian's tapping 5 and does a power techniques. So he's dealing 1 to the Scavenger Folk and 3 to JS. And he's attacking. He's pumping the 1/1 Whirling Dervish that he played last turn, making them a 2/2. And JS is activating his factory. And then he's going to Mazavith the Djinn. And then he's going to Desert the Whirling Dervish and sack his factory there. I think he could have saved his factory by tapping it and giving it +1/+1.
Yeah, I'm not sure why he didn't.
That Oubliette was very timely for Ian. Okay, and Ian drops a Curd Ape here. I mean, that's just 3 mana and poof, your Erhnam's gone. Oubliette's so good. Okay, here's the Wyluli Wolf. Wow, that could really help him out in an Erhnam versus Erhnam battle. But he's already lost a couple of his Erhnams.
Absolutely. Gets that magic number 5 to kill another Erhnam or to kill a Juzum, and it gives it 6 toughness.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty sweet.
So Ian's coming in with the Erhnam and the Curd Ape. The Erhnam gets lost in the maze. And JS is blocking with the Wyluli Wolf, giving him a +1/+2 with the Pendlehaven, and then using the desert. Wow, he's really using these lands to maximum value here. So yeah, he's able to get rid of the Curd Ape, and the Wyluli Wolf survives no problem.
Yeah, and lose nothing. That was pretty rough.
Yeah, that was a real smooth move. All right, so Ian's dropping a 4-drop. It's a Juzum Djinn. Now he's got a Juzum and an Erhnam. That could be a problem. JS really needs his Erhnam here, because then he'll have Wyluli Erhnam plus the Mazavith. That'd be great for him. I think he's already lost a couple of Erhnams already, though, so... man, yeah, you're staring down a Juzum and an Erhnam. It's not looking too great, even with your Mazavith.
Chain Lightning. How did he chain lightning in Erhnam?
That's a good question. Let's go back here.
Oh, he must have blocked the Wyluli Wolf with it, and then he chain lightninged.
Yeah, he blocked with the Wyluli, pumped him with the Pendlehaven, then pumped the Wyluli, so the Wyluli's now a 3, and then he can chain lightning for the rest. Yeah, so he was willing to.
It was just weird because he showed him the chain lightning before he moved the wolf to the graveyard, like it was a lightning bolt or something. But it's definitely a sorcery.
Yeah,
but that's alright. He just did it afterwards.
Yeah, he needs to do it after combat for sure. Okay, so he was able to get rid of the Erhnam, and he's got a Scavenger Folk still. The Pendlehaven and Desert are coming in very handy for him. And, hats off to JS for really maximizing his Wyluli Wolf value there. Like, a Wyluli Wolf with a Pendlehaven Desert took out an Erhnam. I mean, with a Chain Lightning, but still, that's pretty good.
He seems like he has a pretty decent setup with the maze and the Sylvan Library and a dude he can pump with his Pendelhaven, but he doesn't seem to be drawing any answers for the Who's'em. He definitely has them in his deck. He just hasn't seen one, I guess.
Right. Okay, so Ian goes down to 9, taking the upkeep damage from the Juzum and drops another Juzum. Yikes. Yikes, double Juzum. That's scary. Holy crap.
Yeah, 2 coming at him each turn is gonna start to get some damage in.
Ian's thinking it over here. Attack. 1 maze. And JS is going to either have to take 5 or chump block with his fat scavenger folk. Alright, so he chumps with the scavenger folk. Looks like he's on 8 life. So he can't take more than... Oh, wow, look at this, John. Triple Juzum.
Triple.
That is an oh no.
I think that might be game.
Yeah, that's going to be the nail in the coffin right there. Oh, yeah, JS just like scoops it all up.
He's like, forget about that.
Dang, so Ian wins it 2-0.
2-0.
Well, JS, this was his first Four Horsemen tournament, and I know he's gonna be back with us. In fact, he's playing in the Four Horsemen Pauper Doubleton coming up, and starting this weekend actually. So I know he's excited to play in that. Okay, so the red-green Wyluli Rukh Erhnam deck gets beat by the red-green-black Untamed Djinns and Efreets, and Ian proceeds to our semifinals. And the next match we have to cover is Peter versus Roger. We will be covering that one in the next video. All right, John, thanks for joining me tonight, and thanks for everyone for watching. We will see you next time.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Greetings, old school magic players, and welcome to the Four Horsemen.